Welcome back to the world of storytelling with me, Ronnie. Outside it is windy, raining, typical August weather for the UK, I suppose. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of the project that proves that stories and sharing stories can and will make the world a better place. There's one particular community that I know does that better than most others. And myself and today's guest used to live and used to be part of, I suppose still are part of this community at different times. I was there for almost a year, and it's called the Arava Institute. And it is a fantastic place in the desert where Palestinians, Israelis, Jordanians, Europeans, internationals from all around the world come together, live together under the auspices of the phrase, nature knows no borders. They share their stories and they live a shared one. Today's story by today's guest, Barak, is about that time for him. And I just want to point out the juxtaposition and paradox of sharing a beautiful, but what some people may say sounds like a naive story, right at this moment where people across the Middle East, but particularly in Gaza, are going through utter horror. But it is so important to be reminded of the possibility of living a shared story, of being the proof that stories can be shared. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day.
So tell a story, one that is true. Yeah.
Almost exactly 4 years ago, I joined a program that subsequently changed the course of my life in a very significant way. I went to study in an institute called the Arava Institute for Environmental Studies. It is a environmental institute that is located smack dab in the middle of the desert in Israel. It's a very unique program. You go there, you study for a semester, you study environmental studies, but the unique part of the program is that you're studying 60 students, Israelis, Palestinians, Jordanians, and internationals. And you live on campus together for 4 months, live in a community lifestyle, trying to be as sustainable as possible. But the more important part is the introduction that Israelis and Palestinians have, sometimes for the first time in their lives, that Israelis and Palestinians and Jordanians are meeting each other. For me, it was a very significant experience, because also for me, it was the first time that I met Palestinians, and it was the first time for me that I learned what it means to be a Palestinian and to be a Palestinian living under occupation. It was my first time talking and having a conversation and learning about the Palestinian narrative. And needless to say, it was, or maybe it is needed to say, that it was a very shocking experience. For me as an Israeli growing up, I was 25 years old, learning for the first time what my security costs for my neighboring Palestinians. I went through quite an identity crisis with all of it, and went through a few emotional loops, kind of, getting to grasp with everything that I learned. But I think, and the story that I wanted to share today was, I think one of the things that really opened me up emotionally to my friends and the students that were together with me over there, but also just a really nice story. So, like I said, the Arava Institute is located in the middle of the desert in a beautiful area in the Arava Valley. So you have the Jordan Edom mountains to the east, and you have the kind of Elat mountain range to the west. And the first few weeks I live in Tel Aviv myself, a pretty urban place, so going there, that's it. The first few weeks, every 2 days we'd take a hike into the mountains. Now, one of the people that I studied with, and by the way, for the story, I'm going to withhold the names of the students that I studied there, just because it's a sensitive topic for a lot of people, and especially for Palestinians and Jordanians to come and study in an Israeli academic institute and living with Israelis. It's something that let's say could be frowned upon in their communities, and in other situations even put them in danger. But I had one Jordanian friend over there, an amazing guy. The first time that you'd see him, it would be very difficult not to be intimidated. He is a huge guy. His biceps are the size of my whole body. Very, very deep voice. But 5 minutes into a conversation with him, you find a person with a huge heart and an amazing sense of humor, and extremely friendly. So every time that I'd in those first few weeks, every time that I'd head out for a hike with a group of friends, I'd go to him and I'd tell him, come join us for a hike, and he'd always tell me, Barak, hiking is for white people. I would protest and try to convince, but he wouldn't budge for the first few weeks. Until after about 2 weeks, I eventually was able to convince him to join us in one of the hikes, and we went together for a day into kind of the crevices of the mountains, and we collected beautiful gemstones that were located on the floor of the valley, and we had a really amazing time. Close to sunset, we started walking back to our campus, and we had this beautiful big lawn in our campus, and me and my friend, we sat there, and I offered him if I'd go get us a bottle of wine, and he said yes. And I ran to my fridge and I bought us a nice chilled bottle of white wine and 2 glasses, and poured us a glass, and we were sitting and just watching the scenic views of the Jordan Dome Mountains. And I put on some music for us. I put some 1920s jazz.
Beautiful.
Really, really beautiful music, super relaxing, and we were just listening to it. And after a few minutes of listening to it, he turned to me and he asked me, how do you dance to this music? So I told him, let me show you. So we stood up, and I don't remember what the orientation was. Either I grabbed his waist or he grabbed my shoulder, or the other way around, and we grabbed hands, and we just started two-stepping across the lawn and dancing to the music. Just kind of moving along and laughing, and I was laughing to myself at this absurd situation. 25 years old, this is the first time that I'm meeting a Jordanian in my whole life. I was pretty intimidated as well before the experience, but here we are, 2 people in the middle of the desert, just dancing to some 1920s jazz, and it was a really beautiful moment. And a few moments after of us dancing, suddenly people saw the vibe that was happening there around us and started joining in and dancing, and we were having a really amazing time over there in the sunset on that grass lawn. And after a while, I noticed another friend of mine. She was a Palestinian woman, I think as well, 24, 25 years old. I won't share her name as well. And she was an amazing person as well, just the most lovely smile that just draws you to come and have a conversation with her. She came from a pretty religious family. She wasn't drinking any of the wine, and she was she had a headscarf, a hijab that was covering her head and her hair. And she was sitting there and looking at us dancing, and she was smiling. After a few minutes, I approached her and asked her if she'd like to dance. And she kind of she shrugged in a very shy way, and she told me, no, please, I don't want to. And I told her, yalla, come on, Kiru, I think you'll enjoy it. And she told me, no, I don't even know how to dance. So I just told her, listen, it's really easy, just listen to the music and kind of move along. I'll show you. Eventually, she was convinced, and she joined me, and we kind of, we held hands and we started dancing, and it was a really beautiful moment. And after a while of us dancing with one another, she looked at me and kind of in a very low voice, she said, Barak, just so you know, this is the first time that I'm dancing with a man. I, in that moment, just started tearing up and just getting really emotional. First of all, it was just such a vulnerable thing, to share, and I also just, till this day, I applaud her bravery of kind of jumping into those waters. I don't know if I would be able to do something so out of my my comfort zone as much as she did. And we just carried on there and danced together till the sun set to that music. You know, I think for me, those whole 4 months in the Arava Institute and my whole life kind of continuing afterwards were very subsequential, but I think that moment was very important because it really turned the page at me of being able to open not only my mind to the whole situation that we experienced there, but more importantly, open my heart to all the friends and all the different cultures that came there, and to just see that when you take us outside of the context of conflict, and you put a group of people just in a neutral zone in the middle of the desert, how much beauty and love and openness can be experienced in that place. And that story just makes me feel better every time I think about it.
It's made me feel better as well. It's a really, really beautiful story. Barak, thanks for coming on The World is Storytelling.
Thanks for having me.
Some say the old ruins in the sand tell us every story will come to an end. But my dear, we can live what we tell. We are storytelling animals.